She lies next to you. Same dead silence. Same oversized shirt. Same not tonight without saying a word. You reach out and she shifts. Just a little. Just enough. Not in anger. Not in rejection. But in quiet dismissal. No touch. No tension. No fire. Just another night of nothing. And you lie there, staring into the dark, asking yourself a question no man wants to say out loud. Does she even want me anymore? You tell yourself it's stress. You tell yourself she's tired. You tell yourself this is just a rough patch. But deep down, in that raw place inside your gut, you already know. Her desire for you didn't fall asleep. It left. And here's the part that burns in her mind. Nothing has changed. She still thinks she's the prize. Still believes being near you is enough. Still acts like you should be grateful she hasn't walked out. Meanwhile, you're starving. Starving for the version of her who used to crave your presence. Starving for the look, the pull, the wild heat that once made her unstoppable. Now she gives more energy to her phone than she does to your body. She gives more attention to strangers online than to the man paying her bills. She walks around like you're lucky she still shows up while you're dying inside. And worst of all, you've been teaching her that this is okay. Every time you stay silent, you validate the silence. Every time you tolerate less, you invite even less. Every time you pretend you're fine, you kill a little more of what's left. This is how desire dies. Not in screams, not in betrayal, but in comfort, in complacency, in consequence, free neglect. You think you're being patient. You're not. You're being erased. You think you're being patient. You think you're being the good husband, the steady man who waits, who endures, who proves his love through silence. But let's strip it down. You're not being patient. You're running a training program. Every rejection you accept without a word, every cold night you swallow, every smile you fake when you're starving for touch, those are lessons. And the lesson is brutal. She can give you less. And you'll stay anyway. This isn't strength. It's weakness in disguise. It's not loyalty. It's self-erasure dressed as love. You think you're holding the marriage together. But what you're really doing is slow dripping your own erasure. One night at a time. Look at the contrast. She used to check her lipstick before seeing you. Now she barely looks up from her phone. She used to fight for your attention. Now she treats it like background noise. And why wouldn't she? You've shown her there are no stakes, no rules, no consequences. If you don't set the rules, you play her game. And her game always ends with you losing. Remember, the beginning. She had to impress you. She had to earn your time. She put in effort because she wasn't sure she had you yet. That tension lit her up. That uncertainty fed her desire. But then you traded edge for comfort. You replaced standards with silence. You gave her unconditional acceptance, thinking that's what love demanded, and she adjusted. She stopped trying, because you taught her she didn't have to. Not love, but conditioning. Not patience, but training. Not strength, but weakness. Every night you stay quiet. Every touch you don't ask for. Every boundary you don't enforce. You think you're buying peace, but you're selling attraction. You're not saving your marriage by enduring. You're dismantling it piece by piece. You're not the man she once chased. You're the furniture she leans on, but never touches. Here's the truth. No one told you. Her desire doesn't run like yours. Your engine is always on, humming steady, waiting for a spark. Hers isn't. Female desire is responsive. It needs activation. It needs fuel. And when the fuel disappears, so does the fire. In the beginning, that fuel was automatic. You were new. You were a challenge. She didn't know if she fully had you, so her body lit up with anticipation. The chemistry was raw, alive, unstoppable. But comfort killed it. Predictability replaced tension. Stability replaced mystery. And desire cannot survive in predictability. Love thrives on safety. Desire thrives on risk. You've given her one and starved her of the other. That's why she says she still loves you but hasn't touched you in months. Not absence of love, absence of activation. Look at the boxes she's put you in now. Provider, protector, stability, comfort. Those are useful roles, but not one of them turns her on. The lover box. The man she once chased, the man she couldn't resist, got locked away. And every time you tolerate the new routine, you bury that box deeper. Here's the visual she used to check her lipstick before you came over. Now she barely looks up from her phone when you walk into the room. She still shines at brunch with her friends. She still straightens her back at the gym. She still glows when strangers validate her. It's not that she lost the energy, it's that she doesn't need to spend it on you. And that's the inner mechanism. Behavior follows reinforcement. When effort is rewarded, effort continues. When neglect has no cost, neglect multiplies. You thought loyalty meant staying no matter what. But what you've really done is prove that her effort is optional. Not loyalty, but self-betrayal. Not patience, but permission. Not devotion, but conditioning. And optional effort always ends the same way optional desire, which slowly turns into none at all. She's living in a story that feels good, but isn't true. In her head, attention equals value. A random smile from the guy spotting her at the gym. Proof she's still magnetic. A coworker cracking a harmless joke. Evidence she's still got it. 100 likes on her new selfie. Confirmation she's still at the top of her game. Every drop of casual attention becomes evidence that she's still the prize she was 10 years ago. But here's the brutal difference. Nobody tells her attention is not commitment. A like doesn't pay the mortgage. A flirt doesn't protect her when life gets hard. A compliment doesn't stick around when she's sick, broke, or aging. Attention is cheap, commitment is costly, and she's confusing one for the other. Visual trigger. Imagine someone bragging about being rich because their Monopoly wallet is stuffed with fake bills. Looks impressive until they try to buy a coffee and get laughed out of the cafe. That's her Instagram validation. It feels like wealth, but it doesn't spend in the real world. And this illusion doesn't just inflate her confidence, it poisons your marriage. Because when she thinks attention equals value, she starts to believe effort is optional. Why invest in impressing you if she's convinced other men already want her? Why chase you if she believes she's already winning just by existing? Why bring her best when she thinks her mere presence is enough? You've seen the shift. Early on, she used to plan. She'd pick out outfits, try new things, send you texts just to spark your excitement. That wasn't magic, that was effort. Now she lounges in sweatpants, phone in hand, expecting loyalty as if it's automatic. Not because she can't bring her best, but because she doesn't believe she has to. Not attention, but distraction. Not validation, but delusion. Not value, but entitlement. And entitlement is the silent killer. Once she thinks she no longer has to earn you, she stops wanting you. And when she stops wanting you, she resents the fact that you still want her. That's the dark spiral. Effort dies, desire dies, and finally, respect dies. The myth that attention equals value is the foundation of this spiral. And if you don't shatter it, she'll keep living in it while you keep fading into the background of her life. You don't need a relationship coach to see the truth. Just run the test yourself. Watch her in 2 environments out there with others, and in here with you. The difference will tell you everything you need to know. Out there, she's alive. At brunch with her girlfriends, she's radiant. Her laugh is louder, her posture straighter, her hands fly as she tells stories. She's charming, magnetic, fully present. At the gym, she fixes her hair between sets, adjusts her leggings, carries herself like she knows people are watching. At work events, she's polished, witty, sparkling with social energy. She's still capable of bringing her best. You've seen it. Everyone else has too. Now compare that to home. Same woman, different version. Sweatpants, messy bun, eyes locked on her phone. You try to start a conversation. You get a shrug or a one-word answer. She walks past you without a touch, without a glance, like you're a roommate instead of her husband. She saves her best energy for the world and gives you whatever's left over. Sometimes that's nothing. Visual trigger, think about an actress. On stage, under the spotlight, she delivers a powerful performance. Off stage, she drops the act, slouches, goes flat. The difference isn't ability, it's incentive. Out there, she still has to perform. She still has to earn validation. At home, she thinks the show can't be canceled, so she stops performing. And here's the sting, it's not because she's tired. She's not too tired to laugh with strangers, not too tired to light up for likes, not too tired to show her best at work. She's only too tired when it comes to you. That's not exhaustion, that's entitlement. That's reinforcement. She gives you less because she's learned she can. You may want to deny it. You may want to tell yourself it's just stress or parenting is hard, but the test is clear. She still has the energy. She just doesn't feel the need to spend it on you. And whose fault is that? Partly hers, but also yours. Because you kept rewarding her worst with your best. You kept giving full investment while she gave partial effort. You showed her neglect has no cost. So neglect became the norm. Not tired, but entitled. Not burned out, but careless. Not drained, but reinforced. This lab test doesn't lie. Same woman, 2 versions. Which one do you think is the truth? The one she shows strangers, or the one she shows the man who never leaves? If you keep ignoring the results, you're not just observing the experiment, you're the subject. And the longer you play along, the clearer the outcome becomes. Talking won't fix this. You can't negotiate your way back into desire. You can't sit her down, pour out your heart, and hope she suddenly feels attraction again. That's not how this works. Attraction isn't built on speeches, it's built on behavior. And if her behavior trained you to accept less, then only your behavior can retrain her to give more. That means no more begging, no more waiting, no more over-explaining. Action is the playbook. Here's what it looks like in real life. She rejects intimacy. You don't roll over and play cuddle buddy like nothing happened. You turn your back. You let the distance speak louder than words. She snaps at you with disrespect. You don't sit there and smile through it. You stop the conversation cold. Leave the room and show her tone has a price. She cancels plans last minute. You don't rush to reschedule. You make other plans. You fill your calendar with things that matter to you: your gym, your business, your friends. And here's a rule: no more husband benefits for roommate treatment. You don't shower her with validation when she gives you scraps. You don't keep the marriage alive on your own back while she coasts. Mirror her energy. If she invests, you invest. If she doesn't, you redirect that energy into yourself. Upgrade your body. Upgrade your wardrobe. Upgrade your mission. Upgrade your circle. Calm, consistent, unapologetic. Because here's the law: behavior responds to reinforcement. She pulls away. She should feel your absence. She withholds. She should feel life without your attention. She neglects. She should experience the gap you leave behind. You don't scream it. You don't announce it. You live it. Visual trigger. Think about fire. You've been throwing logs into a dead fire pit, waiting for heat, and every night it stays cold. Now, imagine taking that fuel and building a new fire, one that actually burns. That's your energy. Stop wasting it on a pit that isn't lit. Redirect it where it matters, into yourself. Not talk, but action. Not negotiation, but demonstration. Not threats, but standards. This is how you reset the system. This is how you stop being her safety net and start being her prize again. The man she has to earn. The man she risks losing. The man she once couldn't resist. Your biggest enemy isn't the guy at the gym who makes her laugh. It isn't the coworker who leaves fire emojis on her Instagram. It's not even the strangers who give her fleeting attention. The real enemy is drift. Silent, invisible drift. The slow erosion that turns passion into politeness. The kind of drift that doesn't show up in one fight. It creeps in night after night, year after year, until you wake up living with a roommate instead of a lover. Every time you accept neglect, you sign another line on your sexual death certificate. Every time you swallow disrespect, you teach her it's allowed. Every time you keep showing up loyal while she gives half effort, you reinforce the idea that half effort is enough. That's drift. That's death by 1,000 cuts. And here's the brutal cost: it doesn't stop at you. It bleeds into everything. Resentment doesn't fade. It builds. Slowly, quietly, until it poisons the air. You think you're protecting the family by keeping the peace. But your kids, they're watching. They see a man who tolerates disrespect. They see a dad who sacrifices his needs just to avoid conflict. They learn that marriage means passion dies, that fathers become ghosts, that men should settle, and they carry that blueprint into their own relationships. Visual trigger. Imagine water dripping on stone. 1 drop doesn't matter. 10 drops don't matter. But 10,000 drops carve a hole. That's what drift does to your marriage. Not loud, not obvious, relentless, not other men, but your silence. Not temptation, but neglect. Not sudden betrayal, but slow erosion. And the stakes, they're higher than you think. Once she stops seeing you as desirable, she stops seeing you as valuable. Respect and attraction are linked. When one dies, the other follows. And once she's lost that lens, it's almost impossible to get it back unless you break the pattern now. The question isn't, will this get worse? It's how much longer before it's permanent. Because drift is patient. It doesn't need permission. It just needs time. And every day you do nothing, you're giving it exactly what it needs. The way out isn't another talk. You can't sit her down and lecture her back into desire. Attraction doesn't answer to words, it answers to energy. If drift is killing your marriage, you need a new rule, a new frame, a new protocol. Here it is: reciprocity. Your time, Your energy, your presence, they are earned, not owed. From this moment forward, no more unconditional investment. No more giving 100 while she gives 20. No more pretending love means being her emotional safety net while she gives you scraps. Think about it like gravity. When she shows effort, gravity pulls you closer. When she doesn't, gravity weakens. She feels the distance. She feels the absence. That's not punishment. It's reality. That's how life works everywhere else. Why should marriage be any different? Here's how the protocol plays out. She invests. You multiply her effort. She neglects. You redirect your energy into your body, into your mission, into your work, into your friends, into the life that makes you magnetic, with or without her. You stop being the man begging for her attention, and you become the man whose attention is valuable. Visual trigger. Think about a man chasing a dog. The dog runs faster, always ahead. But the second the man stops, the dog eventually turns around. That's how attention works. The more you chase, the more she runs. The moment you stop, she feels the gap. She questions her security. She remembers your value. Not begging, but boundaries. Not speeches, but standards. Not chasing, but choosing. And here's the punchline once you shift your frame. She has to recalibrate. She'll feel confused at first. She'll wonder why you're distant. She'll sense the change in your energy. But that confusion is good. It's the spark of awareness. It's the beginning of respect. And respect is the root of desire. The protocol isn't about controlling her. It's about controlling you. Controlling what you tolerate. Controlling where you invest. Controlling how you show up. Because the moment you reclaim your standards, you stop being her guarantee and you start being her choice again. Stop lying to yourself. When did you change? When did you stop being the man she chased and become the man she tolerates? When did you trade passion for predictability? When did you decide her comfort mattered more than your desire? These weren't accidents. They were choices. Choices you made by staying silent, by lowering your standards, by believing patience was love when really, it was self-betrayal. Look in the mirror. Be brutally honest. If the man she first fell for walked into your living room today, the man with edge, with ambition, with presence, would she even recognize you? Or worse, would she chase him while you sit there invisible in your own house? That's the soul check. That's the line you have to face. Because here's the truth. Desire doesn't die because time passes. It dies because effort stops. And the only way to revive it is to revive your standards. Not through begging. Not through arguments. Not through emotional breakdowns. Through action. Through boundaries. Through living the reality that you will never again settle for scraps. Visual trigger. Picture two futures. In one, you keep enduring. 10 years from now, you're in the same bed, colder than ever, wondering when you disappeared. In the other, you reset the standard. She remembers your value. She respects your presence. She invests again because she knows she could lose you. Which reality do you want? Because the choice is in front of you right now. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. This is the moment you either drift further into invisibility or rise back into being the man she desires. The man she respects. The man she risks losing. And the truth is, she can only feel that if you make her, not with words, but with standards. If this hit you, don't just scroll past. Save it. Share it with a man who needs to hear it. Because you're not the only one living this in silence. Millions are. And silence is why marriages are dying. The resurrection of desire doesn't start with her. It starts with you. It starts when you stop rewarding neglect, when you stop living like her approval is oxygen, when you reclaim your value. That shift, your shift, is the spark. And once it's lit, everything changes.